It is time for the Stone and Wood post show. A quick day of competition, but very consequential. Burleigh Heads woke up blazing hot, and the elimination round, well, changed some of the storylines of this event. Talk about wild cards, not underdogs, more like headline thieves, as we saw today here at Burleigh. Even saw some lefts. Thanks for being with us on the Stone and Wood post show. Joe Turpel, Felicity Palmatier, World Champ Hall of Famer, one of our heroes, Wayne Rabbit Bartholomew. Bugs, what a day at Burleigh, creating new history, new stories today. What really popped out for you?
Oh, wow. It was a short day, but obviously that wild card attack, you know. I mean, when I heard that Morgan Siblick was in that heat, I went, oh, man, this got gnarly, you know. Yeah,
a lot of great energy when it's elimination day, Flick, with the women trying to avoid those thirds. Tough one again for Nadia Arostarbe. The tour is so gnarly these days. It feels like you're competing for a final at every round.
Yeah, there is no easy heats, and we hear the athletes talk about it all the time. You know, every heat draw, it's hard, and you've got to go all out. You know, we sent 6 surfers home this morning, and it's tough. The conditions were good, though, and the performances were next level.
Let's focus in on elimination. Heat number 2 for the women. Wow, this one was extremely scrappy here at Burleigh Heads today. Brisa Hennessy off a huge result at Bells, moved up to number 8 in the world, but ended up in 3rd place.
Yeah, this was pretty shocking, right? I mean, you spoke to her performance there. She dropped the 9.4. I think it was in the quarterfinals, and, you know, one of the best waves we've seen. And then she just went down to Lakey Peterson and Bella, though. They both put on great performances. Lakey, you know, one of her better ones, 7.33 and a 6.43. And she just said, you know, it feels good to, you know, make these heats and get these wins because I feel like my surfing's there. Then we had Bella as well. I mean, Bella, she's obviously still got that knee brace on, but getting the job done. I mean, obviously there must be a little bit of a niggle there, but it is so unfortunate to see Brisa go down because, yeah, she was trending up in the rankings, right? And she's still sort of in that. There's a bunch of girls, I think it's from 7 to 13, and there's only 2,000 points sort of separating them, right? And when you think about that cut coming up, I just think things are getting tight, and that would have been a heat that would have been so important for Brisa to advance out of, but yeah, Lakey looking strong that morning.
And great to see Lakey in this kind of form. Bugs, I mean, with Brisa out at world number 8, Lakey at number 9. So that is a little more painful knowing that Brisa's got those people right behind her advancing through to round of 16.
Yeah, that was a wild finish to that heat. And, you know, Lakey Peterson, she's always been one of my favourite surfers, but she's surfing with such intensity in this event. Like, she is here. It's all business.
There's something about that, right? When you've seen Lakey Peterson as long as we have, and there's something extra, you know, after having an extended off season, getting a wild card to kick off this year. You know, she's taken everything so seriously, and even losses more seriously. She was devoed when she lost early in El Salvador. She's feeling her form, and she's certainly at the top of her game.
I think, you know, there's a couple of changes. You mentioned it. She had that off-season, right, where she really got to focus on her surfing, try and improve it. She took on the new coach, Leandra Dora, and I feel like, you know, sometimes it just takes a couple of different things, and things start clicking again. You start to find that so-called purple patch where you're on a roll, and it feels like Lakey's sort of coming into that era.
Now it's time to focus in on the Boost Mobile heat of the day. This lived up to the expectations. A couple of big wild cards. Throw in Jack Robinson. This was like a surf movie, Bugs, first thing in the morning.
Yeah, it was wild. There's Morgan. He just popped up out of nowhere, and it was gnarly. Jack got off to the good start. Just sort of got overwhelmed by the wild cards in the end.
Yeah, 5.33 for Jack. And he's never lost in the elimination round since he's been on tour full time. He was just kind of rattled by the momentum of Morgan Siblick and Julian Wilson.
It was a masterclass by Jules, right? I mean, I think that heat was won within the first 2 minutes before waves had even taken off. You could see the intention of Julian, and then with this kind of performance, just absolutely sending it to the air, not once, but 3 times, and showing so much variation. I mean, he is back with a vengeance, and I mean, Morgs as well. You got to give him credit. Wild card, last minute call up, and absolutely getting the job done. I mean, this was, as an elimination round, Joey, we came into the booth and we're like, what, are you kidding me? This is an elimination round right now. What a doozy.
It's stacked wild cards. Morgan, former number 5 in the world. Julian, former world runner-up, along with so many other accomplishments. He made the statement, Bugs, that he wants to be back on tour. He's really showing us that he's really backing up that call.
Well, he showed the whole world that. And another feature of this heat, it was the first time all day that they showed with this new east swell that wide bank came into play. And both Julian and Morgan snagged a couple wide ones.
Going from a Bells victory to an elimination round loss, a tough blow for Jack Robinson. He's living right here on the Gold Coast these days. His first time he's been in the elimination round in a couple of years, but first time he's ever been eliminated since he's been on tour full time. We don't count that 13-year-old wildcard story when he was just a Grom with Kelly at Karamas, but it's a wild story when you're on top of the world number 3, and then out very early.
It's difficult because you mentioned it, right, Joey? This is now where he lives. He's in his own bed, and you come back here after a win at Bells, and you're thinking, okay, great. I'm surfing on home turf here. I get to go home at night to my family, sleep in my own bed, and you think, I'm sure at least going to make finals day here. Things are flowing, but I mean, this one's going to sting. He's just going to have to reset, and he's going back to his original home of Western Australia in the next event. So he'll have to just sort of shift that mindset, and I'm sure he will be able to do that.
Exactly, yeah. 2 big wins for Jack there. Be defending event champion when he goes home to the West. Well, we've already gone into 2 big days of competition, first 2 days of the waiting period. Let's bring up the Surfline charts to see what we have in store for Monday morning and beyond. Bugs, this waves look really fun the first couple of days, and looks like we've got some more to look forward to.
Yeah, it's kind of like just trending in this same zone. Nothing major on the cards, but we're keeping an eye on things as they develop throughout the week. It is going to trend more easterly, so the good thing about an east swell is that we get pretty much all of it. The south swells give us a glancing blow.
As we focus in on the next 4 days of the waiting period.
Yeah, and look, it makes sense today. We punched through those 6 heats, but I mean, you look at the rest of the waiting period, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, easily 4 foot every day, offshore in the morning, and then, yeah, okay, sideshore in the Arvo, but the good thing about Burleigh is it's protected, so you're still going to have clean wave faces, plenty of opportunity on offer.
Looking forward to it. Still making a call first thing in the morning to see if we can get some big heats out there. A couple of giant ones really standing out for us. The Hydrolite heats to watch. Oh my goodness, we get this. World number 1, Italo Ferreira taking on the Wildcard Trials winner, Julian Wilson. Bugs?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's like Julian's just this floating, time bomb in the whole event right now. And wherever he landed is going to be gnarly. And he landed with Italo, but Italo yesterday, he's surfing next level.
Julian Wilson is undefeated against Italo, 4-0 at the CT level. However, Italo wasn't a world champion yet. Things have changed since those early meetings that they had all over the world. Julian seemed extra inspired when he heard about that matchup. I think he really wanted to beat him in the opening round. Then how about this? Hydrolite heat to watch. Katie Simmers, Steph Gilmore.
This is so cool. I mean, we saw them in the opening round matched up together, and that was fun. We had Luana in there in the mix, but now we get to see these 2 women head to head, which is rad because there's, Katie no doubt has drawn inspiration from Steph. She's been vocal about it, that Steph's one of her biggest inspirations, and that opening round heat, it was splitting hairs between Steph and Katie. So this right now, I mean, it's just those 2 women in the water, and I know that Steph is as competitive as ever. She's going to want to not lose to Katie, the current reigning world champ. So we've got the GOAT taking on the reigning world champ.
How good is that? This teenage phenom going against the silky smooth icon, Bugs.
Well, yesterday, Kate was in her post-interview, I think, was saying, hey, is there a chance Stephanie and I can meet in the final?
Yes, she did. She actually wanted that to be a final. And she brought up, with total honesty, these extra nerves that she had when she had Gilmore next to her in the opening round.
Well, it's for good reason, because Steph, obviously Gold Coast girl, grown up here, honed her surfing on right-hand point breaks. I mean, it doesn't get any more deadly, right? Matching up against probably the greatest of all time, and out on a point break where her surfing just suits it to a T. And someone like Katie, who probably hasn't really spent much time here, even at Burleigh. So it's going to be a great matchup. I'm sure they're both going to bring it.
Wow, can't wait. We've got like Katie surfing like firecrackers and Steph surfs like jazz. I'm looking forward to that one as we dive into the Vissla CT Shaper rankings coming into stop number 6 of the season. Lost Surfboards, just unbelievable. The last couple of years, still with an enormous lead. Sharp Eye in second. Channel Island Surfboards sitting pretty in the 3rd spot. Britt Merrick's on hand along with Brent Power to support their team. DHD, and it's been this real cool resurgence of JS Industries, bringing more team riders than ever, into this season.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously a lot of points. That last event, Kanoa, the second there, riding the JS, and that JS looked really beautiful under his feet. And I think he actually mentioned that it was a replica of one of Joel's boards that he was riding, so that's pretty cool little intel to note as well. But yeah, resurgence of JS, let's go.
And when you come to the Gold Coast, it's pretty easy to get a world-class board and often easy to catch up with one of the best in the world. Darren Hanley always loves a chat. Vaughn Blakey was able to catch up with him.
Innovators, creators, Whistler is a proud supporter of the Bonsoy Gold Coast Pro, and they've got a wonderful activation down here on site at the comp, which is the Whistler Shaping Bay. And guess what? DHD is in the house, and he's going to be shaping today with the winner of the bell, mate, one of your team riders, Isabella Nichols.
Yes, she won the bell. That's probably the 16th bell we've had at DHD, and she's going to come down. We're going to replicate the board that she won bells, a little 511 DNA, the one that Mick Fanning's been riding to all those victories, and Stephanie Gilmore. So she's coming down. She's bringing the bell. So if you want to come down, watch me shape this board with her and get a photo of Isabella with the bell. So one-time opportunity on the Gold Coast to see Isabella with a bell.
Oh, that is all time. What time's that going down?
That's at 12 o'clock today. So, they'll have a few little things going on around here. So come down, check out the comp site. It's unbelievable. And then come and get a photo with Isabella.
That's all.
Watch me shape a board.
Let's watch you shape a board in this place, mate. I love the sound of that. And yeah, congrats on that magic carpet and all those bells, mate. Where have you got? Have you got any? Have you got any at your place?
No, you got to win it to ring it, And to tell you the truth, I've never rung the bell. I'm superstitious about that, so I just let them ring the bell, let them have the glory, and I'm just a shaper, man.
You just stick to the planer, mate. That's make that racket in your own way. But there you have it. 12 o'clock, Whistler Shaping Bay. Create, innovate, get it done. Come on down.
What a great opportunity. Thank you, Vaughn and Darren Hanley. That's in about a half an hour from now. It's rare to be able to see that live. One of the best shapers in the world. You could actually ask him questions as he's building that surfboard, Bugs. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. I mean, I've seen Darren, since he was a grommet growing up, and he did his apprenticeship under Murray Burton, and then broke out on his own and to become a world-class shaper. And he's got a pretty good stable over the years.
He certainly does. Well, one man that's been helping Matt Biolas win all these shaper rankings year after year is Griffin Colapinto, coming up with a crucial heat win. He's on the glass with Laura Enever.
Yes, Griff, that was a crucial heat, just as Joey said then. But talk us through it, because I know your back wasn't up against the wall, but there was good scores getting dropped. It's the elimination round. How are you feeling, and how did you manage to turn it around?
Yeah, it was a little scary heat for sure. A little nervous at the start just because it was trippy. The bank was changing, like where the good waves started coming. Like it just kept going further and further down the point, and so it was interesting, having to adapt to that. And then I think Joel started with a really good score down at the bottom, so it was instantly oh whoa, we got to go check this zone out. And then yeah, those guys started throwing heat right away, and so it was just instantly on.
But then to turn it around with that 8.5, talk us through when you took off on that wave. Were you just thinking or not thinking, or what did you do?
I was definitely confused before that wave, because Imai was up the point and then Joel was down at the bottom, and then there was kind of that in between where I thought the good waves were coming in, and they're both sitting away from me. And you kind of want to when you have priority, you want to be able to kind of take a wave off another guy, and so it was almost just trusting that where I was sitting was going to be where the best wave came. And then eventually it showed up. I was like, oh, here it is. Yes, trusted it. Here it is. And then yeah, first turn felt really good, and then it was okay, I could either just do a nice solid finish and get a 7, or I just go for it and put it to bed, And then I realized I've already had heats this year where I've lost super close, and everyone's surfing so good. So I think just from the lessons I've already learned, it was already ingrained. Okay, you go for it, So yeah, it paid off.
Amazing. And then it looked like you just clicked into gear, and talk us through that confidence coming off bells. Obviously not getting the wind down there, but just to come here and be in the elimination round, and then yeah, obviously a roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a roller ride. It's pretty fun though. Just the ups and downs, and yeah, the emotions that come through it all is pretty cool. And just following my personal legend, just like everyone else. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, the belief is there. Into the next round. Congratulations.
All right, thanks, Laura.
Thanks so much, Laura. Always great words of wisdom, kind of well beyond his years for Griff. You know, he is not afraid of journaling. He could keep it private. He'll post it. He kind of wants to share that high and low journey that you have on tour with everybody. And I really think that's helping him actually face it, look at it. Sometimes those losses you just want to hide. You don't want to show anything, you know, any weaknesses to your opponents. And for Griffin, he's sharing the journey, and it's really working out for him, Bugs.
Well, look, he's an outstanding young man, and, you know, I've always felt that he's been, you know, wears his heart on his sleeve. You know, he's been always open and honest about where he's at, and, yeah, I mean, just such an impressive young guy.
Yeah, and then also the idea to will a wave and believe it's going to come. I know he's deep in meditation, Flick. Do you do things like that? You know, just close your eyes and hope it happens?
Hey, I wish I could. I'd be bringing him in all the time. No, I think you know, there's certain surfers on tour that they go out and sort of the waves come to them. Jack Robbo's another one. Griff, yes, he definitely channels that energy as well. And I mean, it's just interesting, right? You just think about Griff and the performances he's had this year. They just aren't equating in heats. Bell's obviously found the confidence. But even that last elimination round heat, the other guys were getting really big scores, and it just wasn't easy for him, but he was still surfing really good. It's not a show like the results this year of his level of ability. I think it's just that he's just finding it really hard, like matched up against these guys that are also performing really well.
Love it. Now it's time for the BioGland Daily Dose. See the big major moments of the day coming in at number 5. Luana Silva off the final at Bells. Survives in the elimination round. Looked really great this morning, Bugs.
Yeah, Luana, this is an outstanding performance. She had a bit of a slip up yesterday, and today she was on form, on point.
Looked really sharp. Got the win over Sawyer Lindblad. And Nadiero Starbe ended up being eliminated. Then how about number 4? Connor O'Leary doesn't need sleep to take out big wins.
He just activates in delirium mode. I mean, it's pretty good what he's being able to achieve. Obviously, welcome the new little baby into the world with his wife, Steph. And, I mean, he absolutely smoked this heat. As far as backhand surfing goes, the precision here is incredible. Timing. He was able to find space in the lineup. I noticed that he started to shift down to that bank that you were mentioning, Rabbit, just that one further down the line, almost the beach break.
Look forward to that. Rio Waida finding himself in this heat, Bugs.
Yeah, Rio, you know, he's open about not wanting to be here the last couple of events, but today at Burleigh, he's back in board shorts and he's looking loose.
That's right. He said he feels the pressure now of expectations, so he's trying to pretend he's a rookie all over again, just to take it all off and strive for brilliance. That really worked out for him.
Oh, he's got his hunger back, and that's what he was searching for.
High flying act, 817 for that punt for the man from Indonesia. Great job, Rio Waida. Number 2. How about Griff getting the win in the last heat of the day?
Yeah, this was really cool to see. I mean, obviously, he had the good result down in Bells, and then you're thinking, oh, great, I found my momentum again. And all of a sudden, he ends up in this elimination round. But this elimination heat, like I was saying before, it wasn't easily won. The guys were giving it to him. He had to work for it, right? And it's not, like I've mentioned, he's just surfing so good. Unfortunately, he's just coming up against these other guys that are also doing the same, but it's going to feel good for him. We saw him in the post-heat interview. He's like, yep, it's been a roller coaster, but I'm here for it.
Winning the BioGland Daily Dose, Trials winner, Wildcard, headline thief. Julian Wilson wins it.
Look, the whole thing is the big catalyst, I think, for Julian Wilson was Jordy Smith winning El Salvador 8 years in the desert, in the wilderness, mid-30s, and Julian went, I want that.
That's exactly what he wanted, and he looks so comfortable. His airs are modern day, up to date with everything. He was ahead of the game when he was on tour, and still just as solid. 3 attempts above the lip, 3 landings.
It's just progression, variety, and I just love it here. The comeback is epic, and I can't wait to watch the next heat of his coming up against Italo. I feel that it's going to be a pretty special one.
He really wants it.
Yeah.
You could tell Julian is ready to win this comp. It's not good enough for a heat win. He's preparing for this just like he did when he was in the world title race.
You know, it's a statement. He's making a huge statement at Burleigh Heads, and, you know, he wants to get that letter in the post.
He certainly does. We always want to check where Vaughn is hanging out around this place. Vaughn, where are you at?
Well, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and that means it's time for an icy cold Stone and Wood at the Stone and Wood Bar here at the Bonsoy Gold Coast Pro. Things look like it's heating up down here, mate.
Yeah, mate, we got some really cold beers. Great surf on. Come down and have a beer.
It's going to be a great Sunday because as well as the Stone and Wood bar being open for business, we got the Stone and Wood Afternoon Delight 20 session. We've got signings all around the event site. We've got bands playing the Savo. You know what? Pro Surfing has delivered on the Burleigh Heads once again. Come on down and be part of the atmosphere. Stone and Wood Bar is your first stop.
Well done, Vano. Cheers, my friend. Stone and Wood Bar's going off. I remember first trip to Oz, someone invited me to a Sunday session. I know what that means. Going to meet up with Vaughn in just a moment. Big highlights today. Always a pleasure being with you, Bugs and Flick, and the rest of our crew. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your Sunday. We're going to leave you with the highlights from today, and join us tomorrow morning at 7:15 local time for a potential 7:30 a.m. start, either women's round of 16 or men's round of 32. We'll see you then. This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.